All right, what's up, everybody? We are live and streaming because you know I think really this is the only thing that's going on tonight that's of any importance. It is November 3rd, and I don't really know what else is going on, quite honestly. Can I actually hear myself this time? Let's see. Oh, sweet. My good microphone's working now. That's probably not going to stay that way. Um, Let me share this stream right quick. You know, these things always start off really crappy and messy and not good. Could they make this any more of a pain in the ass to share? I don't think they could. What's up, everybody? I know that I was joking before, but the election they're counting the votes right now for all the states, and that's great and all, but and not good. We have to finish what we start here. And I personally am excited to finish this crap because I'm tired of dealing with Rolling Stone and their awful picks. Like I said, the whole thing about now that we're so deep into this list, it's not really that big of a shock anymore as far as what place they put stuff in. It's more of, if I've even heard of the damn record or not at this point and what my opinion is of it. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted right now. I'm trying to share this so we get more people in here. All right, here we go. So posted there. All right. Do I really only have like one person watching right now? This is like great for people. When you go back and you watch this video, and I'm just talking about like how little people are watching. Oh Jesus, it's funny to me though. No, I can never I always say 9:30, and then with the streaming, and I suck at sticking to deadlines. And I guess that's like one cool thing about making a an actual video that I edit and then I put out later, is that it goes out exactly when I say it's supposed to. And yeah, I mean yeah, it might be slim pickings for as far as like the live people watching this as it happens, since the whole election thing is going on right now. I am keeping track of it. It's so far as the electoral votes go, Biden's 122, Trump's 192. So I don't know. It's pretty close right now. Anything could happen. But I doubt that during the span of this live stream, I doubt that. Hey, what's up? Danny from Canada. Danielle. Yeah, fuck. 3 whole people. Yeah, I think with the election going on right now, I don't think we're gonna get a lot of people watching this video. I'm just kind of hanging back a little bit, see if we can pick up a few more people before we get started. Like I said, I know this is probably going to be more of a video that people go back and watch later once it's already finished. They're probably not going to watch it in the moment here because of the election going on and all the states being counted, and people's attention are just elsewhere. But this is when Josh has time to do a video, so that's why this is happening right now. But yeah, this is part 4 in a series that I've been doing of Rolling Stone magazine's 500 greatest albums of all time. I happen to be off on Tuesday. It's just the best time for me to do it, so I'm doing it. And yeah, anyway, like I said, we're in the last back 9 or whatever the golf term is here. We're getting to the last 100 albums. This should be a lot shorter of a video than my last ones, although I say that now, but I guarantee it'll still come in at 2 hours just like my other one. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We got 3 whole people watching, so that's slightly discouraging, but it is what oh, now we have 4 people. Let's see if we can get 5 before we start getting into this here. How's everyone doing tonight? How are all four of you doing that are watching this? You doing good? Canada, do you even care about our election right now, Danielle? I mean, they say like the world. This is what we hear anyway in America. They say, "Oh, the world is watching the election," and it's like, does the rest of the world really give a shit that much about America? It's like kind of mind blowing that, you know, the rest of the world would care. Because I honestly couldn't tell you who England's like prime minister is, for instance. I am rambling on. Let's just get on with it. Very much, yes. Interesting. All right. Well, then it must be a thing then. All right, so we're gonna go into the screen capture display, whatever the hell mode right now. Oh, look at that magic. All right, here we are. In at number 401. Thank God this is nearing the end. If you guys at any point aren't able to hear me, please let me know as soon as you can, because this mic has a tendency to just shut off without any kind of warning. So yeah, anyway. All right, in at number 401, we got Blondie's self-titled 1977. I don't know any of the songs off this album. I don't really care about Blondie. I know that she was kind of, started off in the CBGB punk scene and then went new wave, all that business. I've only heard her hit songs. I think Debbie Harry back in the day was fucking gorgeous. I mean, good Lord. Now she looks like someone's nice old grandmother. So moving on to 402, Fela Kuti and Africa 7, Expensive Shit. I love the name of this album, especially for 1975, naming something. I'm going to get demonetized. Look at all those African titties. Apparently that's a album of Afro beats, etc. Obviously my crackery ass has not heard that album, but maybe I'll check it out. Open my horizons to something new. In at 403, we have Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele. Ghostface Killah, another member of the Wu-Tang Clan. This is one of, I think this is one of his first records that he released, and apparently, I don't know, he had his time in the sun, like many other artists from the Wu-Tang Clan. I've never heard a Ghostface Killah song, I gotta admit, so I don't know. Moving on to 404, Anita Baker, Rapture. Anita Baker reminds me of another one of those, I call them like Muzak artists. Like you hear him in the Walgreens, you hear him in the dentist office, just, over the little radio in the ceiling, and it's just kind of like, okay, whatever, good for her. Wish her the best. Various Nuggets, original artifacts from the first psychedelic era. This is some kind of compilation, I would imagine. 27-track 2 LP set was a radical idea in 1972. While rock was getting bigger, Nuggets established a new canon out of forgotten AM radio hits, brutally simple singles like the Standells' Dirty Water, The Shadow of Night's Oh Yeah, and the Count Five's Psychotic Reaction. Rhino expanded Nuggets into a sprawling 4-CD box set in 1998. Isn't that special? I kind of hate psychedelic music. In fact, I caught a lot of shit back when I did my Pink Floyd ranking video on my channel. I ranked all their albums from the D tier all the way to the A tier, essentially. And I caught a lot of shit from Pink Floyd fans because I talked about how I hated basically the Syd Barrett era of Pink Floyd, and even beyond that, a lot of the early Dave Gilmour stuff I didn't like, and everyone's hating on me so bad in that video, and they're calling me an idiot and every other word, name under the sun. And I'm like, guys, I just don't like psychedelic music. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like that style. It's just, I don't know, man. Why can't we agree to disagree on that? So anything that's psychedelic or oriented, I'm just not going to be a fan of. It's just not, not my thing. I didn't grow up in that time period. In at 406, we have Magnetic Fields 69 Love Songs. It started with the title, Stephen Merritt said, of 69 Love Songs, which he imagined in the Sinatra-era tradition of theme albums, a tour de force of pop mastery. This is a 3-disc album, and it had everything from lounge jazz to podunk country to punk parody. I don't know a whole lot about Magnetic Fields. I know that they covered a Peter Gabriel song, and I believe I want to say it was Mercy Street. No, that was Elbow that covered Mercy Street. Magnetic Fields, I want to say, covered one of Peter Gabriel's songs, and that's really all I know about them. Actually, they have a song that a lot of people want at their wedding ceremonies. I forget which one that is. 407, Neil Young, Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. I actually really love that title for an album. That's a really cool title for an album. Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. And God, what a grainy album cover. Like, holy shit. That's like some 3200 speed film for you right there. It's a little bit of nerd talk, a little filmy nerd talk. Yeah, I know, Corey. I know. I should. It's no surprise. But I mean, idiot is actually, if you get called an idiot on YouTube, you got off like really, really, really easy. But I don't want to repeat what they call me because I'll get demonetized. So yeah, apparently this was this album was thrown together very quickly. It's very raw. It's early Neil Young. Therefore, I don't really care for it. So moving on. Really, 408, Motorhead, Ace of Spades, a fairly classic record. I mean, they were the nice in between for the metalheads and the punk fans. You could safely wear a Motorhead t-shirt in high school in the 80s and not get your ass whooped, apparently, because they really did cover the whole punk and metal thing, and this was like their classic album. And of course, since Rolling Stone hates rock with a fiery passion, they're gonna put that all the way back in number 408. That sucks. Rest in peace, Lemmy. Grateful Dead, Don't Give a Flying Shit. The Beach Boys, Wild Honey, number 410. So this... Okay, so they're talking about like how Wild Honey returned the Beach Boys to their days as a spunky, self-contained band in 24 concise but utterly winning minutes. They romped through a set of lo-fi, sun-baked melodies and R&B and soul homages, all suffused with warmth, sly hooks, and a sense of band unity. Even as a frazzled Brian Wilson was starting to pull back. The thing about Wild Honey is... this is when I started to like kind of really hate the Beach Boys. Maybe not Wild Honey. I think it might have been I Love You. They really started to get, after like Brian Wilson started like just going out into the depths with his kind of drug use, and he just wasn't mentally there anymore. Mike Love and his brother Brian, or Dennis Wilson, not Dennis, Carl Wilson and Mike Love really kind of became more songwriting forces in the Beach Boys, and it felt like a lot of the stuff that they did were just complete blatant ripoffs of like 70s soft rock and pop at the time, and I really felt like the Beach Boys lost a lot of their soul when Brian Wilson kind of like went out to sea with his sanity. And this is just one of those albums where I just don't feel like it stands the test of time at all. It sounds like very dated. A relic of the 70s or early 70s, soft rock, that LA soft rock, almost like the births of... Anyway, I've said enough about it. Keep going. In at 411, we have Bob Dylan's Love and Theft. It's interesting. This album came out in 2001. It's crazy how even back in 2001, which I know is technically 19 years ago, how much younger Bob Dylan looks in this cover than he looks now. So yeah, apparently, Bob Dylan was going back to his roots. Did he ever fucking stray from his roots? Can someone answer me that? Did Bob Dylan ever stray from his roots at any given point? Doesn't he always just write words that people can't understand? Like, that's just Bob Dylan to me. Sorry. Yeah, I just did that Bob Dylan impression. I think I lost a viewer. That's great. In at 412, Smokey Robinson, The Miracles, Going to a Go-Go. I mean, if you can't talk about classic Motown without mentioning Smokey Robinson. He was such a force of nature, so influential in that era. And, Smokey Robinson really inspired a lot of people, even outside of the Motown world. I mean, Phil Collins, I know, was really inspired by that Motown sound. And Smokey and the Temptations and all of them were really integral parts, and good for them. Bob Dylan went electric and everyone and got booed for it. That's about it. I mean, it's so silly that like someone can like flip their lid if someone like plugs their guitar into an amplifier and everyone's like, "Oh my god." I mean, I don't know, did his lyrics change too? Did he talk about like shit that people could actually understand at that point? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I got to run and grab a Coke Zero to get through the rest of this. Be right back. I am not sponsored by Coke Zero, but if anyone can hook that up, that'd be great. All right, in at number 413, we got Creedence Clearwater Revival Cosmos Factory. This is, what was this? This was CCR's third classic album in under a year? They released 3 albums in 1 year? John Fogerty began it with the 7-minute Power Chugel. Power Chugel? What is a Chugel? And what is a Power Chugel? Ramble Tamble. Raging Against Actors. Anyway, whatever. Great. CCR is pretty good. I love John Fogerty's voice. They're not my favorite band by a long shot, though. I got that, definitely got that classic rock sound or that classic blues sound. Up next, we got Chic Risque. Nobody thought a disco band was supposed to make a brilliant third album, but Chic always thrived on defying the odds. On Risque, the dynamic duo of guitarist Nigel Rodgers and bassist Bernie Edwards fused sleek tropical R&B, Anglophile new wave, and NYC club flash for a sound that's been the blueprint for pop radio ever since. Good Times is Chic's most prophetic groove. The story of hip-hop on wax begins here, with the Sugar Hill Gang rhyming over it for rappers' delight. I mean, I like I said, I feel like if it wasn't for disco, we wouldn't have a lot of modern pop music as we know it. So, you know, it probably wasn't an important record. I mean, I know Nile Rodgers is a fucking beast on guitar, legendary guitar player. Nile Rodgers actually played on, he did a lot of guitar work on Daft Punk's last album, Random Access Memories, because they wanted to bring back that modern, that old disco funk sound into the modern day. So there's some little facts about that. The Meters, Look a Pie Pie. All right, that made me cringe just saying that out loud, but sure, whatever. The only thing I really know about the Meters is that Les Claypool from Primus covered one of their songs. I believe it was called Tippy Toes. And apparently they were studio musician. They were kind of, from my understanding, they were kind of like Toto. They were like a bunch of like really good studio musicians that just all got together and made some music. So, you know, cool. Good for them. Up next, we have 416, The Roots, Things Fall Apart. The 90s alternative rap scene hit its high watermark as an album-length art form with this love letter to black music in the late 20th century. That theme is most explicit on Act 2, Love My Life, a tender dedication to hip-hop's redemptive power, but alas, they're in the playful way Black Thought and Malik B. Anyway, whatever. I know like 2 Roots songs, maybe 1. I know that they are the Tonight Show house band. I Hate Jimmy Fallon. Moving on. 417 Ornette Coleman, The Shape of Jazz Come. No idea. It came out in 1959, so I'm sure it's some early influential jazz record. That's great. Dire Straits, in at 418, Brothers in Arms. You know, this is one of those albums that's bandied about as a classic guitar album if you are a guitar player. You know, Mark Knopfler has a distinctive playing style, and I just really think it's crazy that they were able, on the song Money for Nothing, they were able to actually say, like, you know, like, that little faggot is a millionaire, because he was lampooning or making or taking a jab at a conversation he overheard of this guy in some store talking about just basically making fun of like guys who are in bands on MTV, basically making them seem like they're they're not actually real, hardworking people. They're just these like little, dainties that don't deserve anything, yet somehow are very wealthy and successful. If you listen to the guitar riff on Money for Nothing, there's a lot of intricate little like kind of finger picking things going on there. I've never given this album a listen in its entirety. I do like the songs I've heard off it. I will say that is a hideous yet very recognizable album cover. I mean, even the color scheme, pink and like baby blue, ugh, gross. Moving on, we have, oh god, Eric Church. This is a country album. I really don't. I honestly don't like country. I hate it to a certain degree. I hate that it's all story driven and it's not about the music at all. As someone whose favorite band is Genesis, I'm gonna need some musical something in there, some kind of weirdness to draw me in. And, country music has just never had that. I mean, look at this dude's face. He's just got that just good old boy, just frazzled trucker hat, denim hat, whatever, with his aviators and his manicured beard with a fat pinch of dip in his lower lip. I don't know, man. I don't give a shit about country music. I will say I'm proud of Rolling Stone for putting, this is like the first, well, I guess the Shania Twain, but Shania Twain, that album Come On Over was so much more transcendent than modern country music. This is like the first modern country album to make the list, and it's in all the way at number 419. So I will agree with you on that, Rolling Stone. I respect country pie just about as much as you do. Well, modern country, I should say, because old country is more respectable by a long shot. By a country mile. In at number 420, we have Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the Way of the World. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. This band, and bands like them back in the 70s, they like invented the dance juice. They invented the groove, and it has stood the test of time. Any Earth, Wind, and Fire song, you can play it anywhere, and people will start moving. They can't help themselves. You can't not move to the groove. And I don't know... It's not something anyone can just do. Like, they're one of those bands that they always found that pocket, that groove pocket. Groove pockets. But nah, man, they're the shit. They really are. I'm surprised they were not higher up on the list. I don't understand this list officially. I really don't. In at 421, MIA Arular, however the fuck you say that. That is an ugly ass album cover. That looks like bootleg as fuck. That looks like something someone would try to sell you in a parking lot. Like, hey, man, check out my cousin's new record. It's dope as fuck. And I'm just sitting here looking at this shit going like, bro, this, like, what is this even? What am I looking at? But yeah, no, I like MIA. I really need to... I need to listen to more of her stuff. But I like MIA a lot from what I've heard. She's kind of got like a... more of a world, like that world sound, if that's a genre, like the more like tribal, whatever, more of a world version of Bjork, if that makes any sense. It doesn't, I know. In at 422, Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. I mumble things into the microphone, Gaye said. I don't even know what I'm saying, and I don't even try to figure it out. If I try, it doesn't work. If I relax, those mumbles would finally turn into words. I mean, I get that. I kind of do the same thing when I'm writing a melody. But this is the man who got the #1 album of all time, so just kind of pisses you off a little bit. This was the album that followed What's Going On, I want to say. And it's basically about him trying to find a bridge between love and sex or something like that. I think that's the blurb that I read. All right, moving on. 423, Yo La Tengo, I Can Hear the Heart Beating as One. Yo La Tengo, indie darlings, all the hipsters had this on their, list of bands that they liked back in the MySpace days, I remember. They're one of those bands that I feel like I was told that I was supposed to like, and I could never get into them. Their songs were boring to me, and that just does nothing for me. I don't understand this kind of music, and I don't understand like what the hook is about it, but you know, to each their own. In at 424, Beck Odelay. Oh yes, if you are an old school hipster, this is definitely going to be on your list of classic albums. I like this album pretty good. I like about half the songs on here, and then half the ones I could take or leave. Two Turntables and a Microphone was a really dope song. And Beck is a Scientologist, so that's weird. What kind of dog is that, by the way? I know it has a name with the wires that come off it. It's how its hair naturally grows in clumps like that to form those wires. That's so fucking weird. Pretty cool album cover, though. And at 425, Paul Simon, self-titled. First solo effort after the breakup of Simon and Garfunkel. He had plenty to prove, and he did with a tour de force of songcraft, virtuosic guitar picking, upper register vocal dazzle, and vivid storytelling about sex. This is what they say. This is not what Josh says. I've never heard this album. He looks a lot like my friend Jeremy from middle school. Jeremy spoke in class today. Now, if that didn't lose a viewer or two, I don't know what will. Lucinda Williams at 426, self-titled. I don't know anything about Lucinda Williams. Rolling Stone says in 1988 this album didn't make sense. It was twangy, but it wasn't country. It rocked, but it wasn't rock. It was blue, but it wasn't the blues. And, it's probably not good, so I don't know. Oh my God, Passionate Kisses came off this album. I fucking hate that song. That song came out at CVS all the time when I was at work. Passionate kisses, oh, she needed passionate kisses. Hate that song. Therefore, I hate this album. In at 427, Al Green, Call Me. You know, he's old R&B soul guy. Oh, that's cool, Danielle, that Beck was your first concert. What a random concert. Your parents are cool. Yeah, I don't know about anything about Al Green. Good for him, I guess. I don't know why he would necessarily want an album cover with beads of copious sweat on his face. Maybe that was a good idea at the time. I'm sure cocaine was involved. In it, KN95 is Face Mask. Just kidding. In at 428, Husker Du. New Day Rising, very influential band for early, for the early grunge scene, the punk scene. They kind of were the allspice of those genres. They were like Motorhead in the sense that they could appeal to the punkers and kind of the grunge guys. I think I checked out Husker Du a long time ago, and I never really, cared for it. But does that come as a surprise to anyone at this point? I don't know. Al Green is a minister now? Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere. Good for him. Whatever you want to do, buddy. It's a whole wide world out there. In at 429, we have the Four Tops, Reach Out. Four Tops, another classic Motown band. Yeah, of course, they belong on the lists. Influential to a lot of people that would come after them. In at 430, we have another Elvis Costello record, My Aim Is True. This came out all the way back in 77. I like the description here. He said, I spent a lot of time with just a big jar of instant coffee in the first Clash album, listening to it over and over. They say this music is more pub rock than punk rock. The songs are full of punk's verbal bite. The album's opening lines, whatever, don't care. They got Allison on here. I know that was a big song for him. I never jumped on the Elvis Costello train. Didn't quite see the appeal. So there you go. 431, Los Lobos, How Will the Wolf Survive, 1984. Los Lobos did La Bamba, right? The cover. That's about all I know about that band, so I'm not going to comment any further. Let's check in on the election. Let's see how that's going, just for shits and giggles. Oh, damn, Joe Biden is pulling ahead, son. Even though Trump's got the popular votes. Dude, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm really getting tired of how goddamn divisive Donald Trump is and how he just loves to stir up shit. And although I don't agree with everything that a lot of Biden's policies, I'm just tired of having a president that is just such a troll and just is constantly wanting to start shit and strife with people. So I think it would be a good change if Biden won. And there's my political views for you. I don't like either of them, man, so cut me some slack on that. And I don't consider myself liberal or conservative. But anyway, Jesus, Josh, just get off topic and alienate people, why don't you? Okay. In at number 432, we have Usher with Confessions. I remember when this album came out. I was in high school. And it was a really big pop record, and I just kind of felt like that's where it should have belonged, was in the early 2000s. But I don't know. I guess there was some real bangers off there. I honestly never liked this kind of music. Usher seems like a pretty cool dude, though. Nothing against him. In at 433, LCD Sound System, Sound of Silver. This came out in 2000. The amount of fucking the amount of hipsters, again, I got to bring them back into the fold here. The amount of hipsters who sung the praises of LCD Sound System. This is kind of one of those essential listenings if you say that you like indie music, or if you consider yourself an indie rocker in any way, shape, or form. I got to say, I never really saw what was so great about this band. It really literally seems like I'm hating on every album on this list at this point. I swear I'm not. I guess I have a specific music taste. Yeah, I know, Corey, I'm tired of hearing about my country's politics too. I'd love to hear about Canada's politics for a change, to see how things are different, how they compare and contrast. But now, anyway, LCD Sound System, I don't know. I don't get it. But I guess other people do. 433 or 434, whatever. Pavement, Crooked Rain. 1994. As I've said before in these lists, I really don't care about Pavement. They're one of those 90s bands that I kind of, slid under my radar. There's never really been anything by them that have particularly done anything for me musically. I find their music to be rather bland, so I'm just going to keep moving on. 435, Pet Shop Boys. Actually, it sounds like they're mansplaining at this point. Actually, what a stupid album cover. You got the dude yawning, ugh, gross. I don't want to see that, man. I will say I do like the Pet Shop Boys, so I should check out that album, I guess. Let me just say, oh shit, we finally got it, guys. In at 436, we got the first Tupac record on this list. Holy shit. You realize that Biggie was 350 positions higher in this list than Tupac? You know how much more I like Tupac's music than Biggie, yet they put him so much lower on the list? Rolling Stone has some kind of weird axe to grind with this dude. They must have re-examined his lyrics and determined him not woke enough to be higher up. I can't believe the first fucking Tupac album that we're seeing on this list is 436. This was his final album that he did before he died. This was the one with California Love on it, which is a great song to put on any, dance mix that you got going on. Funky song. It's got that nice kind of, it almost sounds like futuristic California G-Funk, which is cool. Could I have sounded whiter just then by saying that last string of words? Moving on. 437, Primal Scream. Screamadelica. They're signed to Sire, same record label as Aphex Twin and Autechre and a bunch of other groups that I like. I've heard of Primal Scream, and I've since heard of Primal Scream Therapy, which was apparently big in the 80s and 90s, which I think is kind of hilarious. But I can't tell you, what this band sounds like. I want to check out this record. Corey, is this worth checking out? Let me know. You seem to be the music guru in the room. Welcome, Charlie. Glad you are tuning in, as they say. Up next, we have at 4:38 Blur Park Life. This is one of the look at that dog's face, dude. I love that. Look. God damn, that's fucking awesome. These are beautiful dogs, by the way. I would love to pet them. Maybe not that one, but that one I would pet. I mean, obviously, you know, Blur was they were in the contest to be the next big British, you know, thing. It was Blur and Oasis, and that was kind of a feud that lasted for a long time over there. In the long run, obviously Blur won, but in the short term, in the 90s, Oasis was definitely the favorite. But Blur, I feel, is infinitely more creative. If no further proof needed than what the lead singer, I forget his name currently, what he went and did with the Gorillaz, and how the Gorillaz music is, you know, super relevant. And, you know, I don't know. This was a hugely influential album. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Blur, but I do like them a decent amount. And this was an important album. 4:39, we got James Brown's Sex Machine. Yeah, I mean, any James Brown album should make this list. Super influential dude, godfather of soul. So good for him. Loretta Lynn, coal miner's daughter. She was a really big country singer. Came out in the early days of popular country music. Oh, God, really? Primal Scream sounds like the Black Crowes? No fucking thank you, then. I hate the Black Crowes. Their singer. And that bluesy shit, man. It's so boring. I've heard it a million times. Okay, so 86, the Primal Scream record. Anyway, Loretta Lynn, influential, whatever. I got more respect for her than I do for any contemporary country artist. In at 4:41, a relatively new Britney Spears album. Really? Like, you're not going to put... I mean, you guys might have to refresh my memory on this, but I don't think... I think this is the first Britney Spears album that has made this list. Her first album? Really? You're not going to put Baby One More Time on here? Like, the album that literally changed pop music in the late 90s? You're going to go with one of her albums where she was, like, waning in relevancy? This was a weird, like, you know, because club music, this was kind of like the height of that, or not even the height, maybe the genesis of the, all the pop songs on the radio were had like a club feel to them. Jason Derulo, Lady Gaga, Black Eyed Peas, I mean, you name it. Like, all the pop artists were making these, you know, 4 on the floor club things, and Britney Spears, wanting to stay relevant, threw her name in the hat with this album. I will say, as a DJ, that was a great time for pop music, because you, like, all the newest most popular songs you could just throw on, and people could fucking dance to them. What's wrong with that? I thought that was great. This has that song Piece of Me, which had that weird chorus, you want a piece of me, that they like modulate her voice or whatever. Just making sure my mic still works. I'm paranoid that it's gonna cut off in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, weird choice. 4:42, The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness. Yeah, I totally think this record deserves to be on this list, and this is probably the right position for it. Fucking Abel Tesfaye, or however you say his name, The Weeknd. He's one of the guys that I feel like kind of single-handedly made his own road in pop. In fact, the song Blinding Lights is probably my favorite pop song in a really long time. It's got that synth pop retro 80s feel. Love the dude's vocals. He's always doing interesting sounding music. Like, it's got kind of like, some of it has like an industrial feel, some of it has just this really electronic, like, hard hitting shit, and he's singing. He's not, you know, like rapping over it. Like, it's he actually is having to put in the time and write great vocal melodies that I think cross over to a lot of people. I think this guy's a little underrated. I mean, he gets a lot of attention and all, but I think he should be a little bigger. It's almost like, I don't know, if he could dance and was a little bit more attractive, maybe he would be bigger. Because, you know, Michael Jackson had that big crossover appeal, and I feel like this guy could very well have that same thing. Maybe if his hair was a little different. He got that weird hair, man. You know, God bless him, but that fucking hair, though. 443, David Bowie, Scary Monsters. This was Bowie apparently redefining his sound, making it more, as they put it, futuristic post-punk. Sure, whatever. He revisits the Major Tom story with Ashes to Ashes, where he screams along with the new romantic synths, acting out the sad story of the lost astronaut who finds the higher he gets, the lower he feels. Oh, how poetic, Rolling Stone. You and your fucking blurbs. I mean, honestly, every Bowie album should probably be on this list. I'm not a huge Bowie fan, but I'm not dumb enough to, you know, ignore his relevance. Fiona Apple, Extraordinary Machine. I know nothing about this album, so I'm just gonna skip it. Fiona Apple strikes me as one of those artists that would be a darling to music critics, you know, because she's like so serious and she takes herself really seriously, and the music she writes is like, you know, really deep lyrically, and she's not really trying to pander. But you know, do I personally like it? I don't know. I would probably consider it boring. And ladies and gentlemen, aside from Rush's Moving Pictures, we have our very first prog rock album on the list. And oh look, it's in number 445. And that is Yes's Closer to the Edge, or Close to the Edge. Now, some may say, well, Josh, Moving Pictures is prog. I mean, it is. It's a little, you know, dialed down in the progginess and a little bit more on the more immediate, more mainstream kind of sound. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is a pure prog rock album. And you can just see that Rolling Stone respects prog rock just about as much as they respect modern day country. The fact that a prog rock album by, you know, a huge band like Yes would be this low, and we haven't even gotten to a Genesis record yet, and I doubt we will, which is unfortunate. Great band, prog rock, fucking A. Moving right along. Alice Coltrane, Journey in Sachidonata, no idea. 447, Bad Bunny, X100 Pre. This came out in 2018. Dude, that was like 2 years ago. Like, really? You're already, like, I take such umbrage with any album that they put on this list that came out so fucking recently. Maybe barring the Billie Eilish record, because I don't know, that one really did make like a pretty big mark on pop music as we know it. Like, it was like Billie Eilish was like the first pop artist that I know of that was able to break the trap rap topping the charts. Because before her, for the last like 5 years, it's literally just been like trap rap and hip hop topping the charts. So for that reason alone, I felt like the Billie Eilish record was important. But Bad Bunny, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure in the Latin world, maybe it's a bigger deal. I just don't know much about. I just know he's kind of a newer kind of Latin guy and whatever. In at 448, Otis Redding, Dictionary of Soul. Yeah, you know, legendary soul guy, sure. 449, the Black Keys' worst nemesis, the White Stripes, Elephant. So I believe this was their first album. These kids insisted that they were brother and sister even after people learned they were secretly a divorced couple, but against all odds, the low-budget duo became a global sensation for their sheer rock power. Elephant seized with raw desperation and lust, and Seven Nation Army hypnotizing the hearts button to button. Oh no, this ain't their first album. I think White Blood Cells was their first album. I'm not a big enough White Stripes fan to know. And at 450, we have Paul and Linda McCartney, Ram. I know nothing about Paul's solo stuff. I barely know anything about Wings, so I'm not going to know anything about this. Weird album cover, weird title, very Afrocentric kind of coloration and art style. And I think Melinda McCartney has a fake wooden leg, so that's a fun fact for you there. No spoilers! Will you fuck the fuck off? I'm trying to keep the spoiler free here. Let me see. Is my mic still on? It is. Wow. It's a good day when that happens. Oh, Jesus. Tap dancing Christ. You gotta let the page load, I guess. Let's see what the election's looking like, shall we? Oh, Biden's still at 131. Trump at 98. Dude, Trump's gonna bitch so bad if Biden wins, because like Trump's gonna have more of the popular vote, but Biden's gonna get the electoral votes probably, and he's gonna be like, it's not fair. I got the popular votes. That is the worst. Trump's a hard guy to do a vocal impersonation of. Anyway, 451, Roberta Flack, first take. Roberta Flack, very talented artist. She went on to do a bunch of different things with a bunch of different people. I'm not really that familiar with her music though. I bet the Needle Drops video on this would be a lot more interesting since he just knows everything that's ever existed and I know very little of this now. Diana Ross and the Supremes anthology. I mean, yeah, Diana Ross, classic. Supremes, classic. Anything they do probably deserves to be on this list. They are the progenitors of a lot of pop music. 453, finally an album that I really love. Nine Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. I think this was the second Nine Inch Nails album I bought. I bought it back in high school, long after it had already come out. But regardless, I thought it was fantastic. I love the kind of the more raw sound. And I don't mean raw as in like, you know, he just was in one room with an acoustic guitar and his feelings. No, I mean more like the drum machine sounded kind of bad. The guitars sounded very thin, but it was great. There was the riffs were really great, and this album definitely benefited a lot from the remaster treatment. They definitely fattened up the bottom end of it, which it badly needed. And like an album like Paul's Boutique, like the Beastie Boys could benefit a lot from that too. Again, with you know how Rolling Stone is, it doesn't surprise me that they knocked this album all the way down to 453. I think the Downward Spiral was way higher up on this list, so at least they got a couple Nine Inch Nails records in there. That's cool. In at 454, we got Can with Ege Bamyasi. I don't know how you say that. Ege, whatever the fuck. They were part of the krautrock movement. I do not know shit about krautrock. I tried listening to krautrock because I had kind of this German fetish for a while, and I didn't really care for it, so didn't do a lot for me. Can is in this. A lot of the noise guys that I run into who like love noise music or experimental, they always cite Can as that's their, oh, do you know about a band named Can? And it's like, okay, you're so cool, man. I fucking hate people like that. Like, they're only like it's only cool if it's underground, bro. It's only cool if no one knows about it, bro. In at 455, Bo Diddley. I mean, yeah, he's one of like the first rock and roll guys ever. He eventually got off to farting in women's faces and going, "Smell my fart." There's actually a YouTube clip of him farting and then saying, "Smell my fart." Which I think is so fucking beyond hilarious. But why I gotta bring that up and drag poor Bo through the mud like that? That was so rude. Oh, that's just like same color theme as that Elvis record and the Clash one, that green and ugly pink. I guess those two colors just go together really well. Eye roll. 456, Al Green, Greatest Hits. Al Green, are you trying to seduce me right now? Another Al Green. Greatest Hits? Now, come on. We've seen compilations on here, but Greatest Hits, that's so unfair. That is so fucking cheating. Greatest Hits, that's like taking all the best shit someone's ever done and putting it on one thing. That you could take any band and make a Greatest Hits of their shit, and they'd probably get on this list, at least a higher position. That's cheating. I don't like how they do that. I can see compilations if it's a really, really old artist, but Al Green's not that old, and a Greatest Hits album, that is just straight up cheating. Whatever. Not like I agreed with anything else on this list. 457, Sinead O'Connor, Do Not Want What I Haven't Got. I know that when this album came out in the early 90s, this was a really big deal. She changed a lot of the musical landscape. When she was kind of like one of those huge artists that you really wouldn't understand unless you like grew up in the 90s. Like when she came out, she was really big. And then she fell the fuck off so fast. She is like one of those pop artists that like had a conscience and stood for something, and she like famously ripped up the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live and pissed off Lorne Michaels and got banned from the show. She went through some shit a few years ago where her mental health was like really bad, and she posted some crazy video on social media talking about how people are trying to take her kids or something. It's kind of sad. I hope she's doing all right. 458, Jason Isbell, Southeastern, never heard of him. 459, Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon, The End of Day. I'd be interested in checking this album out because I do really love the Kanye West and Kid Cudi collaboration, Kids See Ghosts. I think that's a great record. I tend to like Kid Cudi. In general, he's typically deeper than most hip-hoppers out there, and I can appreciate that. He seems to be a good yin to Kanye's yang. I know a lot of people hate Kanye West, but I you know, what can I say? The dude writes good music. So I definitely think I will be checking this album out. Came out all the way back in 2009. Man, I am behind the 8 ball. 460, Lorde, Melodrama. It's an interesting choice that they put her 2017 album on this list rather than her debut album, Pure Heroin, which had the song Royals on it. I don't remember any particular... this album didn't really make much of a splash. It had the single Green Light, and that's about all I really remember from it. But shit, when her debut came out in 2016, she was like 16 years old. So this bitch she's only like 21 or 22. Like she's still got fucking get so mad when I think about these people who somehow got the opportunity at such a young age to like make an impact, and they have so long to like achieve great things musically with their life, and I'm sitting over here being old and I can barely even get anyone to listen to my band. Wah, Josh, why don't you cry about it? I will cry. And at 461, Bon Iver, Bon Iver, For Emma, Forever Ago. I like how they just put For Emma on here, even though that's not the complete name of the album. Yeah, I mean, Bon Iver really did make a mark in the music scene with his falsetto style, his stripped back neo-folk sound, you know, his auto-tuned falsetto paired with very laid stripped back guitars. It was a new sound. I like Bon Iver. I liked his second album more, though, than this one. This album had the song Flume on it, which is a pretty song. Hello, Foxy Boxy. How's it going? Thanks for checking out the video. In at number 462, we have the Flying Burrito Brothers, The Gilded Palace of Sin. What the fuck is this? A landmark of country rock, or as Graham Parsons called it, cosmic American music. He and Chris Hillman were a pair of ex-Birds who'd flown the coop. Oh, the Birds is in the band The Birds. Oh, dude, I cannot wait to watch that video that you're going to animate. Very excited for that. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I really do appreciate it. And I'm glad that you dig the artwork, the album art or whatever, and the song. Super cool. I don't know anything about the Flying Burrito Brothers. Do love the name, though, and I do love burritos, so I'm not angry at this album. 463, Laura Nyro, Ellie and the 13th Confession. Yeah. I know nothing about Laura Nyro, so I'm going to skip it. 464, the Isley Brothers, 3+3. Isley Brothers, huge in the Motown, funk, R&B, early influencers of many of what would form the infrastructure for G-Funk style gangster rap in the early 90s. A lot of the samples in a lot of the classic gangster rap music was sampled from groups like the Isley Brothers. So it's interesting because it's like they grew up listening to their parents' records, and then when they made their own music, they sampled portions of music off these records, which I thought was pretty creative. For real, like listen to some of the Isley Brothers, and you will hear like where a lot of Notorious B.I.G. and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre kind of like musical passages come from. There a lot more stuff is sampled in that music than people like to think. In at 463, we got King Sunny Ade, the best of the classic years. Some of the sweetest, stickiest jams ever recorded, cherry picked from the Nigerian Juju Master's work. This must be some kind of African music or something. Never heard of the guy, so I am going to skip this. In at number 466, The Beach Boys. The Beach Boys today! I only tried surfing once. The board almost hit me in the head, Brian Wilson told Rolling Stone in 1999, but Wilson turned his fantasies into a California dream world of fast cars and cool waves, a world that might even have room for a sacred misfit like him. Scared misfit, sorry. Yet even in his early phase, Wilson was trying to write yearningly complex tunes. She Knows Me Too Well feels like a Greek tragedy translated into doo-wop harmonies and surf guitar. I mean, yeah, Beach Boys just, they started a lot of pop music trends, although they did rip off a lot of their shit from like doo-wop guys and Motown guys, honestly. I made a video on this on my channel, but Brian Wilson literally ripped off the melody for Surfin' USA from a Chuck Berry song called Sweet 16 or Sweet Little 16 or something. Like, it is literally verbatim a ripoff. So he went on to do great innovative things, but a lot of the early Beach Boys stuff, you can't help but to think it was ripped off from someone else, much like Led Zeppelin, a lot of their early songs. Man, I wish more D'Angelo records would come up on this list. I mean, he's fucking phenomenal, and he was so high up with a lot of his albums. Like, where is D'Angelo at is what I want to know. 469, we have Maxwell, Black Summer's Night. He was a successful 90s neo-soul crooner who was on an 8-year hiatus between 2001 Now and this 2009 release. Main thing I know about Maxwell is he did a cover of the Kate Bush song, This Woman's Work, and I thought it was fantastic. Sometimes people will sing it in karaoke, and it's just all falsetto, and you gotta have a good-ass voice to pull that song off. That's all I'll say about that. In at 468, we have the Rolling Stones' Some Girls. I don't really care about Rolling Stones that much, but apparently this was their quote-unquote disco albums. One of their disco albums. Don't mention his name. D'Angelo. No, D'Angelo had 2 albums on there, but there was another album that he was involved with or something. All I know is that one of D'Angelo's albums was like number fucking 38 or something like that. And like all these classic like Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, Peter Gabriel, you name it, were lower than D'Angelo. So I am making him into a meme now. And I just want everyone to know that it should have been D'Angelo Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is all I'm saying. I don't care about Rolling Stones. This is apparently when they went disco with their song Miss You. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. My mom was convinced that every band back in the day she was convinced that every band went disco at some point. And I mean, some bands did, but not, I don't know. My mom's a little delusional. In at 469, Manu Chao, Clandestino. I'm going to definitely say this is some kind of Latin thing of some kind, which I know nothing about, so I am not going to speak on that. Oh, D'Angelo's in a prog rock band now? I wouldn't surprise me. He probably plays all the instruments too. D'Angelo Collins instead of Phil Collins. He plays all the instruments, he sings. Oh my God, 470, Juvenile 400 Degrees. This is one of those, was it the pen and pixel art, that company that was the in-house art company for No Limit Records, where literally all the hip-hop albums in the late 90s literally looked just like this. That slapped together awful Photoshop job, where you're looking at it going like, there's no way this is like a real record. This looks bootleg as fuck. I did a whole video on bad album art, and I discussed at length the Pen and Pixel company that made these kind of records, these record covers. But no, this was a huge album back in the day. I mean, you got Back That Ass Up, which is one of the most classic hip hop songs of all time. And look, you know, in the genre of hip hop, it's a lot more unforgiving than the world of rock when it comes to defining what quote unquote classic is. And a lot of times, the best hip hop song is the most recent one. If you're a hip hop artist, you're only as good as your last hit song. And for Juvenile, an artist from the 90s, to have a song as classic as Back That Ass Up still be played today and still have people I love this cover. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Charlie. It's a great cover. But no, to have that song still be relevant to this day is saying a lot. And yeah, I mean, Lil Wayne was on that song when he was like 16 at the end. Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. So yeah, I totally think this belongs on the list. It should definitely be higher than Public Enemy, Takes a Nation $1 million. Anyway, I won't get back on that Public Enemy rant. In at 471, we have Jefferson Airplane, Surrealistic Pillow. That sounds hippie as fuck. I'm angered. I'm moving on. Wow, really? SZA's Control is on this list? I mean, I know a lot of people love, like a lot of people I knew, like a lot of women that I knew loved this album. And it's really like slow jam, but more contemporary with more contemporary lyrics and all. But wow, that seems hasty to put this as 500 greatest albums of all time. Although it did kind of have its own sound, I guess. And I shit you not, everyone loved this. Everyone loved this album when it came out. Who were female. I did not know a dude who listened to this album. This was mainly for the chicks out there. 473, Daddy Yankee, Barrio Fino. Daddy Yankee, I know, is really big in the Latin music scene. I want to say one of his music videos is in like the top watched YouTube videos of all time. So yeah, I mean, you know, representing for the Latin music scene, why not? In at 474, Big Star, #1 record. From 1972, Alex Chilton and Chris Bell were the Memphis Whiz Kids at the heart of Big Star. They mixed British invasion pop with finesse with all-American hard rock, from the surging feel to the acoustic Heartbreaker 13. Big Star didn't sell many records, but did become a crucial inspiration to underdogs like R.E.M., The Replacements, and Elliott Smith. As Chilton later said, if you only press up 100 copies of a record, then eventually it will find its way to the 100 people in the world who want it the most. Well, let's hope that's true for my album, Hex, by my band Dancing with Ghosts. Yeah, I don't know anything about Big Star, but I don't know. Corey, is it worth checking out? In at 475, Sheryl Crow, self-titled, her debut album, I'm assuming. Every Day is a Winding Road, A Change Would Do You Good. I don't know, was this her debut? I don't know. Every day is a winding road. Yeah, good for... I like Sheryl Crow. I think she belongs higher up on this list, actually. All right, let's check on the elections, shall we? All right, Trump's catching up, 108. Joe Biden still in the lead with 131. Well, let's see, folks. It's getting crazy. Shit's getting crazy. Back here, we got 476. Holy shit, 476. Sparks, Kimono My House. This is a really wacky fucking group. I just started listening to them recently. Really ahead of their time. I love their song, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us. Very interesting group. Very eclectic. Very ahead of their time. Thank you, Charlie. Your songs are better than 90% of this stuff. Thanks, man. You know what? I'm going to agree with you on that, because there's a lot of shitty... I wouldn't say shitty records, but there's a lot of stuff on here that I don't personally like. And I personally do like my own music, so I don't think there's anything wrong with making a statement like that. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to make it. Sorry, my sinuses are giving me a fit right now. Big Star are pretty much the Replacements. Gotcha. 477, Howlin' Wolf, Moanin' in the Moonlight. I mean, yeah, dude, Howlin' Wolf, like, blues came from him, basically. It came from his vagina. his bluesy vagina. So yeah, of course he deserves to be on the list. No problem with that. In at number 478, The Kinks, Something Else by The Kinks. The Kinks are often cited as one of the most influential bands of all time. You always hear the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, but the third band that you sometimes will hear is The Kinks. So I've never really listened to their music, but they're, early influential band to a lot of rock groups. 479, Selena. Let me try to do this. Amor Prohibido. What? Forbidden Love, I'm guessing. That's what that means. El Toro Lucky Patient Zero. How was that? Is that right? I don't know. I think you speak Spanish. I'm not just saying that because of your screen name. You've actually commented on something in Spanish on here before. So, whatever. Yeah, man. Selena was really big back in the early 90s as a Latin pop star. Before there was J-Lo, there was Selena, and I fucking hate that her goddamn, her housekeeper or her family friend, murdered her out of jealousy or some shit like that. So, yeah. That sucks for her, man. If she was, who knows what she could have went on to do had she not been murdered. In at number 480, Miranda Lambert, The Weight of These Wings, 2016. I know that Miranda Lambert was like a big country pop star. Another kind of modern country act. But, she's right up there with your Carrie Underwoods and your Casey Musgraves or whatever as far as contemporary country artists that are, influential and popular with the ladies. I honestly don't know a lot of dudes who listen to Miranda Lambert, so there you go. 481, Belle and Sebastian, If You're Feeling Sinister. Belle and Sebastian being one of the kind of seminal indie hipster bands. Their music, to me, sounds like a limp dick. I don't like Belle and Sebastian's music. And I feel like it's for guys who like to cry a lot, so there you go. 482, The Far Side, Bizarre Ride to the Far Side. Early hip-hop group. They did that classic song, Passing Me By. If you feel like you haven't heard Passing Me By, I bet you have. It's been sampled by a lot of rappers. I know that Fat Lip came from the group Far Side, and I kind of took an interest in Fat Lip. He's really, you want to talk about no one knowing who the fuck that is. There you go. But yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on them. They do have a really cool video that Spike Jonze directed called Drop, I believe, where they did the whole video in reverse. I highly recommend you go and watch that video. In at 483, Muddy Waters, the anthology. Yeah, another classic, guy who invented the blues and early American rock, or sowed the seeds for rock and roll, blues rock. 484, Lady Gaga, Born This Way. Really? I hope they put the Fame Monster up here already. I don't remember if they did or not. I believe they did. Over the Top isn't an insult in Gaga's world. It's a statement of purpose. Her second album is a work of blessed bombast, all arena-sized sonics and Springsteenian romanticism, complete with a Clarence Clemens sax solo. There's a thumping half-in-Spanish song that proposes marriage to a girl in East LA, a synth-pop jam that includes Come On to John F. Kennedy, and touching ballad about a guy from Nebraska, You and I. Yeah, man, that song You and I, Jesus Christ, the amount of people who sang that song at karaoke drove me fucking nuts. I do like Lady Gaga, though, and I think I did enjoy Born This Way, if I remember correctly. Although, I'd say recently, man, she's just sold out and does straight up pop now. She's not really as artsy as she was when she first came out. The Fame Monster, man, I gotta give that album props, because that album really did. Everyone was trying to be weird after that. Katy Perry was trying to be weird. Britney Spears was trying to be weird. Everyone was trying to be weird. Nicki Minaj was trying to be weird. Everyone copied Gaga after that. 485, we got Richard and Linda Thompson, I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. Know nothing about this band. So there you go. 486, John Mayer, Continuum. Ugh. I mean, don't we all just agree that John Mayer is garbage now? He was so... I mean, yes, he's fucking talented. Yes, he writes his own music, but the guy is just so full of himself. This guy gets high in his own farts. I mean, he's just one of those douches that all the preppies in my school loved and wanted to be like, and he, you know, him and his fat fucking lips just sitting under a goddamn oak tree strumming his guitar, you know, while all the girls swooned over how dark and brooding he is. Go fuck yourself, man. It sounds like I'm hating right now. I'm not. I really don't like John Mayer, and my friends who did like him, I don't like them either, because I don't. Anyway, moving on. 487 Black Flag Damage. Damn, I bet a lot of people are mad that this is the first time Black Flag's coming up on this list. MCA refused to release this album, denouncing it as immoral and anti-parent. That's kind of hilarious. High praise, but Black Flag lived up to it, defining LA hardcore punk with Greg Ginn's violent guitar and the pissed-off scream of Henry Rollins, especially on TV Party and Rise Above, which came with the timeless Smash the Glass salvo, We Are Tired of Your Abuse, Try to Stop is, but it's no use. Punks still listen to Damage, and parents still hate it. Good for them. 48, The Stooges, self-titled. Yeah, I mean, they started a lot of early punk stuff. Iggy Pop, you know, need I say more? But I don't really listen to their music. 49, Phil Spector and various artists back to mono. Oh, that's funny, because when he produced a lot of his stuff, it was in mono. That was the mixing trick back in the 50s and 60s. I mean, yeah, Phil Spector was a fucking genius with his wall of sound kind of production style. He really upped the production style and made songs sound bigger, which they needed to sound, because before the Phil Spector technique, a lot of shit sounded thin as fuck on those early records. It's too bad that Phil Spector turned out to be a fucking weirdo pedo, and he's in jail now, or maybe he's dead. Something. Good night, El Toro, Lucky Patient Zero. Iggy Rolf. In at number 490, Linda Ronstadt, Heart Like a Wheel. Country, right? I don't know. I have no opinion on her. I don't think I like her music that much, though. 491, Harry Styles, Fine Line. Yes, folks, not only was he the guy from One Direction, and not only did this album only come out a year ago, and not only did he do that annoying-ass song, Watermelon Sugar, Rolling Stone felt that it was necessary to put this up at number 491 of greatest albums of all time. I listened to this album before I did this video, and yeah, you know, I gotta admit, it's got some production on it that's not completely awful. It sounds like he's trying to do, basically it sounds like he's trying to do like what Bruno Mars is doing, where he's just kind of like biting off the styles of like music of the past and putting his own stamp on it, so, you know, whatever. 492, Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time. I like Bonnie Raitt. She did that song, I Can't Make You Love Me, which is a good song. Didn't she? No. She did that, Let's Give Him Something to Talk. I don't fucking know, but, you know, good for her. Whatever. She's kind of cute in that picture. 493, Marvin Gaye, Here, My Dear. This was an album that Marvin Gaye had to do as a part of, I believe it was part of, he did it because he had to pay royalties to his ex-wife. So this was made out of basically duress, which is kind of funny because all the songs have this tinge of like anger to them. Like a tinge of like, what the fuck, man? Kind of fucked me over on this one. 495, Boyz II Men 2. I mean, yeah, Boyz II Men, very influential R&B band in the 90s. As Rolling Stone likes to put it, there would be no Backstreet Boys if it wasn't for Boyz II Men. I agree with that. I mean, they were kind of the first 90s neo R&B boy band, if you will. 496, we got Shakira, Donde Están los Ladrones? Whatever the fuck that means. Long before she went blonde and took her never-lying hips to the top of the American pop chart, Shakira was a raven-haired guitar rocker who'd peak superstardom in the Spanish-speaking world with her 95 LP, Pais des Color, whatever. To keep up the momentum, Shakira enlisted Amelia Estefan to help her produce her next LP, this stellar globe-trotting dance rock set, which blends sounds from Colombia, Mexico, and her father's native Lebanon. That's interesting about Shakira. I didn't know that about her. I did listen to this album, though, and it didn't really do much for me. 497, various artists, The Indestructible Beat of Soweto. This is marketed yet again under the world music category. It's a compilation of Southern African pop. I'll have to listen to this. I would like to hear what the fuck Southern African pop sounds like, to be quite honest. I'm curious about that. I'm actually going to try to give all these albums a listen to see if maybe there's some hidden gems in here that I've, like, not, you know, stumbled upon yet. Guys, we're almost at the end, thank Christ. 498, Suicide. I'm probably going to get demonetized now. Suicide, self-titled. New York synth punks evoke everything from the Velvet Underground to rockabilly. Yes, I did listen to this. I did listen to this album. I did not care for it. 499, Rufus and Chaka Khan, Ask Rufus. This was a badass group, man. They had that song, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan. Yeah, anyway. Rufus was a very good musician, I believe, and then you got Chaka Khan. What more is there to say? And finally, in at number 500, wow, and going out with on a high note. I fucking love this album, Arcade Fire's Funeral. This album was a mix of all kinds of indie elements, but the songwriting was so good, and there was actually kind of hooks on this. But then there was kind of more of an alt-rock edge to it as well, with the song Wake Up. And then you had Tunnels, Neighborhoods, number 2, Tunnels or whatever. Creepy, beautiful song. This was a great record. I love Arcade Fire. They're one of my favorite bands. They're one of the newer bands that have come out that I just really like a lot. And I think this is the last album that I actually got to listen to by Arcade Fire. But it's really good, and I highly recommend you check out. I'd say like their first, you got Funeral, you got Neon Bible, you got The Suburbs, and then you got pretty much those 3 albums are classics right there. Then you got Reflector, which wasn't very good at all, and then Everything Now, which also wasn't that great. The Suburbs is one of my favorite albums of all time. Their 3rd album is a fantastic release. All right, guys, and I am wearing less clothes than what I was when I first started this. That is Rolling Stone's top 500 greatest albums of all time. I said it in my earlier videos. I will say it again. I believe Rolling Stone is playing the woke card a lot with their album decisions. We've been looking through the last 300 albums. I'm not going to sit here and bicker about where the placement is once you get so far out into like the 300 and the 400 and the 500. But those first 100 choices were absolute ass. Disagree 100%, although I do agree that D'Angelo deserves the top spot for all of his albums. That's a joke. I can't believe that D'Angelo scored higher than just classic albums by the Beatles and Zeppelin and Rolling Stone and you name it. It's clear to me that rock is, phasing out of the zeitgeist. This list was compiled based on the votes of a lot of contemporary pop singers and people in the industry in general. And yeah, it's very woke. It's very more hip hop. Like a lot of the hip hop albums are way higher up now than they would have been in 2003. And yeah, it's just it's becoming clear to me that the music the zeitgeist of the music scene is changing, and I don't like the direction it's going in. But I mean, I guess if you're a fan of rock and alternative rock and electronic music like me, I don't know, maybe we can enjoy a season in the underground for once. I've never been really in the underground with the stuff that I like. I always come late to the party with everything. By the time I discovered Arcade Fire, it was like 2009 or 2010 or maybe even 2011. I got into the Smashing Pumpkins after they already broke up. I got into Genesis after they broke up. I got, I'm not the best person to be like making these judgments on this stuff. I'm just basically going off the things that I personally like and my personal music taste. And it's just for my audience who enjoys my videos. I'm not authority on any of this stuff. I'm just giving my opinions. And I think this list was ass. So yeah, I finally finished this goddamn series, so I will be doing no more. Although I do find the live stream format very fun, so I will be live streaming something else, just not this goddamn list anymore. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please subscribe to my channel. What are the, let's see what the election's looking like. Still pretty much the same here, unless, do I need to refresh this? No, Biden's still in the lead, 131. Yeah, it's creepy. We're gonna, or crazy, I guess not creepy, crazy is more the word. We're gonna know who the next president is by tomorrow, probably, of the United States. So yeah, that's wild and wacky stuff. Until next time, guys, have a good rest of your night, and yeah, stay safe, etc. Goodbye.